AJ,
Michael Patrick.
if you had one place to travel in the entire world tomorrow, where would you
Icaria, Greece.
go? I've never even heard of that place.
Longest lived people in the world live there. I read this. It's probably like 15 years ago. My mom used to read the Reader's Digest. She told me to read the story in there. There's a guy. I'll sum it up real quick. He was 68, got diagnosed with like stage 4 lung cancer. His lineage was from Greece, so he went there just to die there. And they're eating out of the garden. He's hiking up all the hills, and they're playing games up into the evening and drinking wine, all this stuff. And then 30 years goes by, he never died. He never went to the doctor, but then he flies back to America at 98 to see what happens. And all of his doctors, he outlived them all. So I'm like,
No way.
the place just sounds like unreal. Yeah.
Like, I mean, do you know if there's like water or if there's if it's just like mountains or?
I mean,
do you know?
It's kind of like a perfectly structured way to live in terms of optimizing human health. Like,
Okay.
You naturally move all day. You getting fresh air because it's an island as well.
Right.
Yeah, they're all growing their own vegetables and fruits and killing their own animals, and so it's not like this kind of box world where we live in, where everything's like prepared for us. And
Yeah, you can just fuck
BS, and you can have someone deliver it to you and stuff. They're like actually moving and getting sunshine, and they have community. They're socializing. They take naps during the day. Pretty cool.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome, dude.
It's called the place where people forget to die.
The place where people forget to die. Well, if it comes that time, maybe I'll go there and you can go there too. And we can both go together and we can fucking both die in peace in Greece.
Maybe we'll forget to die.
Awesome, dude. Cool answer. I would actually now that's gonna be my answer if someone says where would you go? But cool. Well, hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. On last episode, AJ and I talked about dating and just some of our experiences that we've had with dating, some health challenges, dating as a vegan, some positives with that as well. And it was a fun episode. We love just getting into all different kind of stuff. That was actually it was definitely a bit peculiar for us to talk about that, but like we love it. So today's episode, though, AJ and I are going to dive into the good old fat keto.
Yeah, we're gonna discuss keto, the keto diet. We're gonna share our thoughts. We're gonna share the positives and negatives, just like we did with the fruit-based diet.
Yeah, pretty much. There's
a lot to say, but at the same time, people have said it over and over. We're just going to share our thoughts. So if you find that interesting, if you want to know some positives and some definite fucking negatives of a keto diet, stick around.
Ooh. AJ, who's sponsoring us today?
Today's sponsor is a watch I got on Amazon. Guys, today's sponsor is Supercells. This liquid oxygen spray is unreal. If you have inflammation, you have sunburn, if you have dry skin after you get out of the shower, this stuff is easy to apply. It's affordable. It's fucking unreal. Go order it. Link is down below.
Love that. Good stuff.
That's all I have to say.
Love it. Awesome. Cool. So, AJ, what the first place that I wanted to begin here with the keto diet is if you had to do one, like what would you eat? I mean, obviously it'd probably be vegan. So like it would be essentially a vegan keto diet. What would you?
Possible.
Yeah,
it's possible, but it's
right. Like what would you even eat?
So retarded. Here's the problem I have. I think keto is the worst diet you can do just because it's so fucking stupid. And what I mean by that is I think it's better just to do a carnivore diet or something. Yeah. Like with keto, you can't even eat too much meat because it throws you out of keto.
Yeah, right.
You have to fucking pour oil on your food or a ton of butter. It's like, so you're having 2 cups of butter on your steak. How the hell is that sustainable? How is that healthy? How is that enjoyable?
Right.
Every time you have something, you have to put a cup of oil on it. It's like, and then they're coming back with the poofas. It's
yeah. Isn't it like really hard to get into ketosis in general? And then
it takes time, and it's so easy to get thrown out of it.
Yeah. So I mean, you'd have to like eat pretty much it's like zero carbohydrate, which is like almost impossible to do.
I think it has to be under like 20 grams or 30 grams per day or something.
Yeah, because
like,
I saw these.
You can have some.
Yeah, I saw these keto like crunch cereals, and they had like carbohydrates in them. I'm like, if you're gonna make a keto cereal, like, shouldn't there be at least no carbs? Like,
yeah, I think it's about not spiking insulin from what I'm aware of. So like if you can have some like blueberries or something, but you can have like this much blueberries.
like a couple, like a little.
But what it really gets me is like even protein can be synthesized into the carbohydrate or glucose or whatever. So then it can break keto. And it's like, do you just want to drink oil and eat butter? Pretty much.
I definitely don't want to do that.
But like, it's the most like you have to put so much thought into making it work.
Yeah.
Because it's like fucking so impossible to do.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
How is that natural? How is that convenient? Like people think that like a vegan diet is like complicated. It's like the most complicated diet ever.
Keto. Yeah, it is.
You have to track so much stuff. I think it's annoying.
You'd have to track, and you have to be extremely prepared unless you just fucking want to drink olive oil on the daily. But
people do it.
I like, don't they want like any sugar at all? I mean, given that our body does run on sugar, like I just don't, and we have taste buds for sugar. Like I just don't see how like one would even want to do that at all. Like,
well, okay. I think there's people who think it's good, so they want to do it. There's people who want to lose weight and they see people losing weight quickly.
Yeah,
so
right.
That's obviously a big one. I honestly do believe there's people who feel really sick and unhealthy, and they see the benefits of removing carbohydrates. Like when they do it, they have less bloating or they have less fight or flight or things. Like they notice that their insulin or hormones or sugars seem to be a little more balanced, but it doesn't get solved, which is the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to the root cause. So I think that there's like good intentions, at least half of the time. Like people just want to feel better, and they notice they feel better if they remove certain things. But keto itself, I would think a better way to look at it is to like eat what feels good and like do the things that feel good. Not like, am I meeting my macros? Am I meeting like, to me, it's the same as the fruit diet. It's the same as like, I have to stay in 80-10-10. MP and I, we've been, we talk with a lot of people, and we read a lot of books and watch a lot of videos. I mean, MP, would you agree that it seems as though the people on the two extremes, only fat or only carb, are the ones that kind of have the worst results and the ones that don't last the longest? And the people who are like, I eat food and I focus on like eating well, and I don't focus on like too much protein, not enough. Yeah. Like, it's like, you just eat food.
Yeah, right. No, with the two extremes, there's definitely an imbalance there. And I think we see like someone, they want to do like keto, or they want to do like super high carb, and it's just like, it just doesn't really last. And that's why like why we're here to tell you that like, hey, it's good to like actually get in everything you need and not just be so extreme. But like people want results. And yeah, like I think right off the bat, like you can get results doing stuff like that. But then even AJ, like you were saying in an episode or two ago, talking about like, hey, like if you feel good doing fruit, like don't expect to not feel good at, like, don't just expect to always feel good. Like it's okay to change. It's okay to feel different, and then like change what you do,
Yeah.
So I think
change,
yeah. And I think that's pretty similar here with stuff like this. Like I feel like people, they'll probably just like go keto, and they'll think that like it's the cure to fucking all diseases, and eating cheese and fucking sour cream with lettuce is healthy. That just doesn't even sound entertaining whatsoever. Right. And what I noticed too with a lot of keto people is they talk about fasting. Like they'll do like one meal a day of keto. And because I feel like the fasting does play a huge role in getting into ketosis.
Yeah.
And then obviously keeping your sugar and carbs low and upping the fat is hopefully going to keep you in it. But yeah. And what I've always thought too, with like the keto people and like the fasting, because they like legit have to fast to keep off the weight, or else like they're going to either probably overeat, or they just like can't digest anything because it takes longer to digest all those fucking fats. And if they do eat protein, so that's like something that I've noticed with like the keto people. But
I think that there's going to be people who just have a really hard time losing weight, because there's fucking fat people that I personally know. If you put them on fruit, they'd still be overweight. And if you put them on like one meal a day, they're going to be overweight. Like they have a hard time losing weight. So there's plenty of people who eat keto, get trimmed down and look good. And they're the people you hear about as the examples.
Right.
But there's plenty of people doing the exact same steps and they're not losing the same weight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very unique. I think that the extremes are useful in extreme situations, but not all the time. And I think speaking to a general people who are just generally trying to be well and things, not, putting yourself into that corner is really helpful in the long run, because MP, like what happens if you just ate fruit for 3 months? As soon as you have like one piece of fat or one avocado or a handful of nuts, you're like, oh, for like days, you're like messed up.
You can.
Do you think that's a sign of health?
No.
Like, I had some organic Brazil nuts and now I'm screwed for like 24 hours.
Well, that's another thing too, is like the body's magnificent, and then it can really adapt to anything for the most part, so it's like you go only fruit, your body's going to adapt to that and it's going to make do with only fruit. But then like once you start giving it other foods, it's like it's going to have to figure it out again, and it's going to give you issues. And people, and I think that's what we see in a lot of these different communities here, the fruit and keto is like, oh, well, I've done fruit for 3 years and I eat something else and I just don't feel good. Well, it's like, yeah, no shit, you don't feel good, and you haven't eaten a fucking potato in 3 years. Like, do you expect your body to just be like, oh my gosh, like my saving grace, thank you.
Right, well, let's flip that on the keto. It's like people go keto for a while and then they eat an apple and they're like, oh, my blood sugars were off. And it's like, you think an apple is causing you to have blood sugar issues? Like one apple? Right. No, like you're not being able to process the apple. Yeah. You have so much fat on your body and in your blood and around your organs that you can't process the sugars. Now, for me, I like in the long run, I don't think having like tons of mangoes and tons of apples is the best thing for your system.
Mangoes for sure, though.
Yeah, fucking mangoes. Do not touch mangoes. They're poison. They're horrible for you. They'll age you.
He's lying.
They'll age you.
He's lying.
They'll ruin you.
They'll ruin
your career as a podcaster.
Maybe yours, not mine though. I love mangoes.
Anyway, mangoes suck. But the thing is, like, you should be able to process some sugar, like for sure. You should be able to eat like a couple pieces of fruit and be like, okay, that was a healthy thing to do without it devastating you. And if you have so much fat in your system, you might not handle it that well.
Right. There's I think 2 documentaries on YouTube. I think they're on YouTube actually. They're like fat documentaries, and I guarantee you, I haven't watched them. I watched like a little bit of the. Did I watch? I don't even know. I guarantee that like if you watch them, they're probably going to be pretty convincing to eat like a high fat diet. And actually, I would love to critique those videos and like just give our thoughts on that stuff. But what I've always thought with like the keto people is like you were saying that like their bodies are already so out of whack, and they're like they can't even digest sugars, they can't even digest carbohydrates properly, just because of like what they were eating before. And they'll blame it on the carbs though. But with the carbs is they're eating like fucking junk food carbs, and they're eating fucking pizzas and bullshit with that are also high fat, and they're calling it carbohydrates and they're blaming the carbohydrates. Like they're eating French fries, but that's also like that's a fried food. You have lots of fat and carbs. So I feel like there's definitely a misunderstanding in the keto community about like carbohydrates in general, right. But I do think that like some people will function better by doing higher fat because their system's already so messed up, or they'd have to like go in the complete reverse and like try to get out of that somehow if they can do it.
I think there's 2 camps. I think there's the camp that is like you're saying, there's people who think French fries are carbs, or they ate like cheese pizza and they're like, oh, I had too many carbs. Yeah. There's that group who's more like our parents, I think. I think the next generation, there's people who literally fucking don't put a drop of oil on anything. Right. And they're actually doing, or I'm sorry, when they eat like the clean carbs, but they still have some challenges and issues too. So it's like,
Yeah, no doubt.
I definitely don't want to blanket people as oh, it's only because they're thinking they're eating clean when they're not. Because I think there's so many people, both online and offline, who are trying to eat like really, really clean, and they just feel worse than if they ate complete bullshit.
Yeah, it's crazy. AJ, I've always told you that, like, dude, sometimes I'll just fucking eat whatever I want and I feel better.
Yeah.
Not recently. Like, I've been like really like I mean, I've been honing in, all the time recently. But I'm saying like 2.5 years ago, like I was just doing whatever and I felt fine. Then I started fucking eating like only fruit, and it's just like, what the fuck,
Yeah. Well, when you came and stayed with me during like Christmas, like what was that, New Year's?
Yeah, New Year's.
Like recently? What
was it?
When was that? Was that pre?
Wait, which time? Which time was it?
The most recent time.
Okay, that was Thanksgiving.
Okay. So when MP was with me, we were going out to Philly. We were getting vegan Philly cheesesteaks and all kinds of just junk, right?
Dude,
and like,
I'm
not saying I felt like fucking 10 out of 10 or anything, but I felt like okay. So the last meal we have is organic sweet potatoes, and I felt like horrible. I'm like someone explained that to me, scientists.
Yeah,
like,
for you,
it's clearly a healthier food,
yeah.
but for whatever reason, having that processed, easily fucking digested, whatever concoction of a balanced salt and bread and whatever works better than organic sweet potatoes.
Yeah, it's.
But
AJ, I mean, we know that.
Like, but you could give me an organic, clean green juice, and that would feel absolutely amazing, no matter what stage of life I'm in. So that's why green juice for the win. Mangoes go to hell.
Dude, I made this green juice the other day. Like, it was honestly probably the best I've ever made.
Why don't you ship me some?
Honestly, it wouldn't taste good at all, because like I had to drink it like this. Even the next day of making the green juice, it didn't taste like as fresh. Like I gotta juice it and then fucking drink it. But that's what's so hard. That's what's so hard with juicing, is because I want to like prep. I'm a big prep guy. I want to like prep for the days ahead.
Well, you could have drove it down here to Tennessee. It's only a 9-hour drive.
Drive it down and then drive back.
Well, you could have stayed for.
I guess if I had a Tesla, I could fucking sleep and drive.
Yeah. No, you love driving. Come visit.
Driving is fun.
When you come in to visit?
If I ever find time. I have no time.
Just take off next week.
I mean, maybe I will come next week.
He's so agreeable, guys. I can get him to agree to anything. All right, back to keto. I mean, they have terms out there like keto crotch and like they say you smell horrible. Even the people who eat carnivore, they'll say that they smell worse. And I'm not trying to like jab at them, but it's true. Like it's true according to them. They say that their body odor does get worse.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, just hearing the word keto crotch, like
that sounds nasty.
That would forever ruin it from like someone trying it. I mean, they heard that. I mean, it's weird.
I mean, what do you think is gonna happen when you just fucking eat sour cream and olive oil and butter?
What's they do
eat meat,
like,
right?
The worst kind.
They do eat meat, right? And fish. Sure. I guess, does fish count as keto?
For sure.
Yeah, fish counts.
But the thing is, these people, they'll eat the worst of the worst, dude. They'll get like sour cream from like fucking like Acme or something, like Kroger.
Dude, it's fucking nasty.
They're not even trying to get like at least organic or something a little better.
Yeah,
I never understand it. I like the quality.
There's this doctor on Twitter who I follow. He's a big like keto guy, and I don't know. I just like, I don't really agree with. I mean, obviously, I don't agree with everything he says because he's a fucking keto dude. Let me see. I think his name's like Dr. Trudeau. No, that's the Canada dude, right? Guy. I don't know. I think I unfollowed this dude because he was just like so annoying. Like the keto people, they do sound intelligent when they talk, and like yes, there's clearly bodily processes that like your body goes through where you can make keto function, and you can probably feel well and do well doing it if you like fucking do it right. And like I was saying before, I think like there are people who like they just don't process carbs right, and that actually does work better for them. But I just believe that there's like already an internal issue that they're having.
Right.
that needs fixed, and they can just fix that. So then they can eat carbohydrates and fats at the same time.
Well, saying that they can just fix it, I think, is too oversimplified.
Yeah, right.
Because I mean, it sounded like you knew the answer. So
no.
Enlighten me, please.
No. Like it would obviously take time.
Yeah, right. That's the tricky thing, right? Just finding out, because even finding good help out there. Let's say someone's eating keto, they want to eat more carbs, but every time they do it, they feel sick. They go to the doctor doesn't give them an answer. They go to nutritionist is 300 pounds. Like people don't stand a chance.
Right.
That's why like just following blind rules instead of being able to like semi listen to yourself.
Right.
You know, it's tricky. And a big thing we didn't even touch on is how heavily they rely on coffee and stimulants.
Oh yeah, all the time. That's like,
and then coffee becomes their superfood because it's the only thing that they can take in that gives them some kind of energy, and at the same time, it's not breaking their ketosis. So
what about
butter and coconut oil and all this kind of crap?
Well, like I really question like the clogging of the arteries too, and the clogging of the system in general. Like I don't understand how they can just fucking eat butter and fucking all this fat and not like and lose weight. Isn't it like crazy? Like it is a phenomenon out there of doing that. Like doing keto and actually losing weight. Like you would think it just wouldn't make sense, but like people do lose weight doing it. Right.
Oh, for sure.
And like, how do you, and I just don't get it too with like pooping. Like, like you have to be constipated.
No, I don't know if I'm sure it's not as good for sure. I don't think people were completely constipated. They would stop, I would think.
Yeah.
I would hope. But here's the thing. You have to understand that there's a multitude of factors going on when someone switches up what they do. I don't know if you want to intercept because I have something to go on to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was just going to say that a quick story here. There's a guy that I met down in the Dominican Republic when I was down there back in late 2018, early 2019. And he was one of the singers who would do like our morning songs. It was a mission trip. So, you know, like, you know, like you get up and sing in the morning and do like,
what's a mission trip?
Oh, it's like you get down there and you help out like kids in need and stuff and do gardening. And we went to like baseball camps and all kind of stuff. It's more about like Christianity stuff. It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed the experience, but like once again, a guy who was singing, he was the singer, the artist, he was a keto guy. And he said that that like he was shitting like so much doing keto. Like he'd have to like they'd be like traveling, he'd have to like pull over all the time and like go take a shit. Oh, he said. So like I think like there's people who are like that, but then I do feel like there's people who are like fucking constipated. Like just the stickiness of like the cheese and the sour cream and the butter and all of that. Like, does your body just absorb all of that stuff? Like, there's just no way. There's no way. Like I think people would claim that like, oh, and our products are like 100% absorbable, but like, I just don't believe that at all.
No,
like
it's not, because
no way.
Like, if it was truly a human food, let's say, like they say the not really the cheese stuff, but like the meat, then you would still move it out of your body just like the fucking animals do in nature.
Yeah.
So like if it's 100% absorbable and you're constipated for 5 out of 7 days, like,
yeah, right.
No, animals are shitting all the time.
Yeah.
They're not like having diarrhea, but they're going every day.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Animals eat and they fucking shit. It's a great point. So like there's clearly waste that has to come out from eating the food. Yeah. So
it's not a bad thing.
No, but yeah, go ahead with what you were going to say, AJ.
Yeah, so I just want to say, like, there's a multitude of factors going on. It's like a domino effect. You have people who they cut out a bunch of sugar, aka they stop eating candy bars and ice cream and things, and maybe they stop eating like pizza every day or whatever, and then they start drinking some organic coffee or whatever, instead of having like a whole bowl of cereal, a huge bowl of cereal or whatever. Then they start going like to the gym a little more. And they start like being out in nature a little more because they feel better about themselves, and they start socializing. So like all those things play into human health, I would think.
Yeah.
And so that's why like people will confuse like, oh, it was only this. It was only because I ate fruit or I ate meat or I ate this. And it's like, no, like as soon as you start to feel better, you can make adjustments and changes. And what I get frustrated with is all the people, and I want to do an episode on this about toxic positivity. People will say, oh, it's just because you're not grateful enough. No, it's like as soon as you feel better, you can make better decisions and you can prioritize life a little more. But when you're holding on, you're holding on the edge, trying to fucking get yourself up. It's hard to take all of the steps that will lead to a good outcome because you don't have the energy. You're suffering. You're trying to find a little bit of peace in your day, and it's difficult to do. So people coming into keto, they might stumble upon 2, 3, 4, 5 things that really help shift them around into a more positive way of living.
Yeah, which is awesome. And I think sometimes that's all people need is like one little change, whether it's diet, whether it's, going to bed early, or whether it's lifestyle in general, exercise, whatever. That one little change has a fucking dynamite effect on everything else in their life too. And everything else starts changing. There's a guy, Dr. Tommy John, and basically he's a chiropractor. He's like, people would probably call him like a pseudo fucking scientist dude or whatever. But his message is interesting. And he had a story the one day talking about like celery juice, like, oh, like people will fucking drink celery juice and their whole lives change. He's like, well, it's not the fucking celery juice. It's that they actually made a change in their life and they got rid of some stuff and they brought better stuff in, and look what's happening. Now I don't really agree for the most part. Like I do believe celery juice can play a big role in people's diets.
You've experienced it.
Yeah. Right. Like, I mean, it's awesome. I love it. And I gotta do a video on that actually. I remember telling you I was going to do one down in Florida and I never did. I forgot to do it.
All good.
No, it's not. But
he's just flipping it on the other way. So
yeah,
he's saying like, oh, it's only about the changes you made.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, no, it can still be the one thing that you might have needed in order to help you.
Yeah. Right.
So it's never as fucking black and white as people make it out to seem.
Yeah.
And the people watching and listening and learning, they're getting so confused because they're like putting all this effort in, seeing no results that people are promising. And then they feel bad, like they're doing something wrong because it's like, it must be me because it's working for these 3 people online. And then if you go to the fucking comments, everyone else is suffering and not being able to make it work. And then if this health leader, the only people he coaches and sells to are the people who are trying to become coaches like him.
Yeah, right.
Sell like him, but they're still not where they want to be. It's kind of like a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, you see that all the time with this.
You see it in the Robert Morse world a lot.
Yeah.
How many people in the Robert Morse people, they're certified, right? But they don't have their health and they're being coached by other people who are in the Robert Morse thing. Like
who don't have their health either. No, they're probably all pretty healthy for the most part. But I feel like you just see people just change so much, which is fine. Like it's okay. It's good to learn. It's good to gain new experiences. It's good to hear from other perspectives. It's like I love hearing what the keto people have to say and the carnivore people have to say. Not like fucking bashing veganism and stuff, but like just hearing their thoughts and cool. Okay, like hey, I appreciate your perspective. This and that. Like awesome. I don't agree with everything, but cool, fair enough. AJ, I will say like I've been eating just like a little more fat recently, like upping my fat, and it honestly does feel. It feels good. Like it feels better. Like I honestly, I
3, 2, 1.
It really does. What?
3, 2, 1 X vegan.
No, I do feel more balanced, like in my body. I know it's the whole balance stuff, whatever. But like, I like it. Like I've been eating like fruit, like bananas with fucking, like adding some pistachios and almond butter and blueberries and
diabetes coming your way. You can tell someone's really uneducated if they just throw things out at you like that. Like you're heading for diabetes. Like, shut up.
Like, yeah. Like, how do you know or anything? But that, I feel like that's what like the mastering diabetes people make it seem like. They make it seem like don't do any fat at all, 0 fat. And you'll be like, you're not going to get diabetes. You're going to cure your type 2 diabetes. Like that's kind of what they make it seem like for the most part.
Well, it's not even, they do that. It's very confusing. Even McDougall does it. All the plant-based doctors do it that are high carb.
I mean, just interrupt you real quick. I commented on Mastering Diabetes post one day. I said like, hey, what about like the fucking fat soluble vitamins? Like there's plenty of evidence out there that shows that even eating fucking kale with peanut butter, you absorb the vitamins much better than just eating the kale on itself, because that's how the body works. Yeah, so I commented. I commented. I said like, hey, like, what about fat soluble vitamins A, E, D, and K? and they never fucking responded to me. Of course, I mean, they're not going to respond. I'm sure they have a lot going on, but like,
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know.
Well, what I was going to say is that it's not just about if you're eating a lot of fat or not. It's about losing weight. All these people who are type 2 diabetics, not type 1s, type 2s.
Yeah.
If you lose weight, you're going to have better blood sugars because you don't have all this fat in your system.
Yeah, right.
So that fat in your system is keeping, if you have fat in your blood and these things, it's going to make harder for insulin to get the sugar into the cell.
Yeah, right.
So you can eat fucking clean, but you're overweight and you're not fit. Doesn't mean that it's going to just, get perfect right away. Yeah. Especially you might have some big roller coasters coming your way.
Yeah, I think I'm not like, I don't know. I mean, I fucking love eating clean. Love it. Like I'm all about it. But I think like you gotta like let go, and enjoy it a little bit.
Letting go.
But like I couldn't imagine like honestly having like type 1 diabetes and having to like really monitor fucking every little thing you do. And that's the thing with keto though, is what they say is, since this is about keto, that like their blood sugars stay like pretty level. I mean, if you eat no carbohydrate, they'll say like, yeah, well, you don't spike your blood sugar at all because you're not eating any carbs. Well, spiking your blood sugar is a natural bodily process. Like it goes up and then it comes back down to baseline. Like that's how the body works. So I think there's there's people like keto people, they probably talk about it and stuff.
Well, here's the thing. I agree with you. It's a normal bodily function, just like cortisol. I was listening to an episode of, damn it, I did it again, Beat Your Jeans. And Doug Lyle's like, everyone's talking about stress and like raising cortisol. He's like, that's like saying you breathe in, you go, and you got oxygen in your brain. Like it's a natural part of living. You eat food, your blood sugar goes up. Like this is what's supposed to happen. Yeah. Now, is it supposed to stay high for fucking 10 times longer than normal? No, of course not. Is your cortisol supposed to stay like fucking adrenaline rush and cortisol all day? No. Yeah,
no. But like having some
being afraid of these things, it doesn't make any sense. It's just part of living.
Yeah, right.
Living.
Right. I mean, even with like the blood spiking insulin, that's what they all say. They're like, oh, well, you're gonna spike your insulin and it's gonna age you faster. And well, like, I mean. Like
I kind of agree with that. I don't agree with the spiking part. I agree with like endless amounts of sugar kind of making
and aging. But I just personally feel like if you have a normal functioning pancreas that produces the right amount of insulin and you don't need to like inject any, and you're not like fucking overdoing one thing or the other, and you're exercising enough and you're sleeping enough and your body's working well, like is spiking insulin, is that like that, well, that's normal as well, I feel like. Right? Yeah. So I don't understand why these keto people are fucking saying this stuff.
Yeah, it makes no sense. And I think it's a great point that Harley makes in some videos where he says like a potato will spike you more than like some like kind of meat or whatever, like because it can be insulin producing, or like let's not even use an animal product, let's just use like candy. I'm sure there's whole foods like sweet potatoes that can spike it at a similar amount, as like Skittles or something. And so it's not about it's not about the spike as much as it is the maintenance.
Yeah, right. Over time, like longevity of the spike.
Now, a big part of keto, like a big defense they have is like, I think it was invented or, it came to be because there was people who were having seizures. And when they put them on the keto diet, the seizure stopped. So like, there's clear application for specific needs, which is I'm never against at all. I could care less if someone's like, I had to eat hats the rest of my life because I was sensitive to everything else. It's like, hey, you're alive. That's what I care about. And you feel good. Right. But recommend everyone eat hats. They're not going to do well. And that's kind of how I feel about keto. It's just like so unnatural. I think it's really weird. I think it can be natural for like maybe a short period of time, where it's like you only had access to some fat, right? But purposely staying in it all the time, I don't see it.
Well, AJ, what about the animals when doing a keto diet?
What about them?
Like, do you think people care about them?
No.
I don't give a fuck.
I mean, I would say that like 85% of people, if they seen how the animals are treated, would care for short term. and then they would go back to not really caring.
Dude, I think Joey Carstrong, he had a really good video the other day on Instagram, just like a clip. And it was like, my parents, is my family around? I don't know if they're going to hear this. I don't want to start anything.
Hope they hear it.
Well, it's like, if they're outside on like a big drag, you know, there's restaurants, places, whatever around, probably in the UK, I'm assuming at least. And he was talking to this kid or adult, I don't know, he's probably like fucking 23, 24. And the kid was saying like, or Joe was saying like, hey, if you have a dog right here and you're cutting its throat, like when people like try to stop it. And they're saying, well, what if there's a cow? Like, if you saw a cow right here and someone was like cutting its throat to like feed you, like, what would you do? Like, you wouldn't want to see that. But like, that's what happens fucking every single second of every day, you know, in these factory farms and stuff, which is like, it's really effed up to think about. It's really effed up. But anyways, I don't want to get into that. I just,
no, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
know that I have a solution at all. We'll have to like talk about like that specifically.
Yeah, we will.
It's like such a wide topic,
but like
it's horrible regardless.
But my point of that was like, there's people who are keto and it's like, once again, you know, the first question I asked you is doing vegan keto. Pretty much impossible. I mean, almost impossible, I think, unless you're doing like fucking salads and tomatoes with like,
but even
so much
too many
oil and
tomatoes will bring
avocados
you out of it, you know.
Yeah, right.
That's the problem. It's not low carb. It's keto. It's
Yeah.
so easily. My whole frustration is how easily you're thrown out of it.
Yeah, right. Like it's that easy.
Really,
like you have to be
eat too many.
Perfect.
You could eat too much cucumbers and be thrown out of it. So like that's the challenge, right? Like in a liter of cucumber juice, there's like 300 calories, and you think any of it's fat? No, it's all carbs. So like,
yeah,
if you drank that too fast, I'm sure it's like, oh, you're out of keto now.
Yeah.
Like the only way I'd be able to do something like keto is if, assuming this didn't throw me out of it, I just drank cucumber juice all day and had to sell it.
Because like the point, basically, yeah, right. I mean, the point of being in keto is to get to ketosis, right? Because I don't know, your body fucking does some miraculous stuff in ketosis, I guess, or
it burns fat for fuel.
Or
yeah, ketones, yeah.
So, but like we're saying here, it's fucking hard to do that. So
yeah, well, it's like I'm eating 3,000 calories, and I only gained like 2 pounds compared to when I'm eating like 1,200 calories. So I don't really understand what's going on.
You're just fucking spiking cortisol.
I feel less
too much.
nourished.
You're probably spiking cortisol too much, but not eating enough.
I'm eating too much. It's disgusting.
So it's storing more fat in your body.
I wish I had more fat. I wish I was 300 pounds. I just eat mangoes, become anorexic. I think that the most torturous diet you could eat is a mango diet. I wouldn't do it for one day unless someone paid me $10,000.
Do you want to do it for $1,000?
It's that bad. Especially if it was hot out. It's like, oh no. Well, MP, you got to realize there's so much mess that comes along with mangoes. Like you got to peel it. No, we're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
Just remember that they're the worst fruit on earth.
Oh my gosh.
But keto, I think we could start wrapping it up.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It sucks. You'll smell. Probably be constipated. You're gonna be irritable. You're not gonna. You might sleep better, but you might sleep worse.
You're either gonna be constipated or have diarrhea.
Oh well, yeah, that's horrible. That's disgusting.
I'm sure after like so long it does normalize to some point, but like I just couldn't imagine like what their bowel movements look like. But like really though, isn't it crazy how it works like that? Like you would think that like how do you lose, like how do you, like where does it go, the stuff you eat? Like your body just takes it. I don't understand how they lose weight. It just doesn't.
Well, it's like there's a certain amount of calories you're going to use just for your daily functions. So
yeah.
Let's say 1,700 of it just is to keep you completely in a homeostasis.
Yeah.
And these guys, they do have to eat less. That's why they're drinking the coffee and things. So let's say they can keep it at 2,000. Then what happens is because they're in ketosis, they're burning fat for fuel. It's not like they're burning the food. That's not the idea. The idea is they're burning their body fat.
Yeah. Okay. And hopefully just fucking sweats it out, goes away.
It'd be interesting to have a keto guy on. I want to ask how their like sex drive is and stuff, because I feel as though for me, I feel like it would just drop eating that way.
Yeah. I mean,
I wonder if that's like a known thing where like there's a bunch of guys complaining about that because it's eating that way. Oh,
I heard there's a study done where all the keto people, they couldn't have kids because they had no sex drive. No, I'm just kidding.
I've never been in keto though, so I don't know what it feels like. Maybe it's stronger. I don't know. I mean, when I eat low carb, mine's stronger than.
Well, when you water fast, you're in keto, aren't you?
Yeah.
After 72 hours,
you kick into like 3 days or something.
Fucking ketosis, baby. Fucking.
So ketosis. Do you want to wrap it up, or should I? Or what's
Nah, yeah, I'm fucking good. I'm fucking sick of fat. Talking about fat. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm sick of keto. I'm not sick of fat.
Talking about keto. Fuck this keto shit.
Keto. All right, so guys, we're gonna lay it down for you right here. You ready?
Yeah.
MP, tell me you're ready.
I'm fucking ready.
Okay. Being on the extreme is good if you're in an extreme situation and it actually gets you results. But if you've been doing it for months and years and you're seeing shit results, change up what you do, be semi more normal.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid of fat, carbs, or protein. Intake enough food.
Mm-hmm.
Actually pay attention to the number one thing that no one does because it's free and because it will give you the best results, which I haven't been doing. That's why I'm not speaking as well as I usually will, is sleep. Get enough sleep. Go to bed early. That'll change your life more than any of this diet fucking talk. And then if you eat enough food, you're going to be a superstar.
Dude, don't tell me what to do, AJ. You fucking meanie.
I would never. Now carb the fuck up.
Nah, that was good, dude. I was talking to Colin in some voice messages, and he was saying like the fats is like, it's just so soothing. Like they are soothing to the body, you know, like rather than thinking of clogging, think of soothing, you know. And I think that's true. I think like some fat is definitely fucking good. Like get some fat in you, get some protein in you, get some carbs in you. It all plays a good role. You don't got to be so fucking only sugar. So, AJ, well said.
I agree with the soothing.
Yeah. Keto. Hey, if you want to fucking do it and it works for you, guest the That's from the Beauty and the Beast.
I've never seen
it. You never seen the Beauty and the Beast?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. It's a fucking great movie, dude. I keep saying the F
I thought you didn't watch it. I thought you were against movies.
I thought you were against sleeping.
You're against movies. What else are you against? Green juice.
I'm against green juice.
You're only for mangoes.
But I drink more green juice than you.
You're only for mangoes and like doing squats. That's all I know about you.
But I drink more green juice than you.
In your life, you've drinking more green juice than I have?
Yeah.
There's no way.
I have. I mean, you've had like 7,000 gallons of that 7-Eleven juice, so you probably beat me. But
I don't even count that.
That's green juice?
I'm saying fresh green juice, I've drinking more than you.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, you did.
I've eaten more mangoes than you, and I hate mangoes.
Okay. You did.
All right, we're gonna have a green juice versus mango debate next episode.
Awesome.
You guys want to see that? Let us know. If not, stay hungry.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, thanks for listening to the Keto Show today. This is the Keto Podcast. This is the Hungry Keto Podcast. Check it out.
I'm gonna go on a hat diet.
Looks good. No, hey guys, thanks for listening. If you got this far, stay up, be great. Always keep it 100, baby.
I already said it. Yeah.
Yes, you did.